Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel as a Hideki. This is Aman Kumar and I am a 99 certified Salesforce developer. So, as you must know, the winter 2026 is around the corner and we will be discussing some of the important updates that are going to be available in winter 2026. So let's see the important dates. So as you can see, these are the dates that are important for the winter 2026. On the 21st of August, we were able to retrieve or get a pre-release org. I will be putting the link in the description, and you can get a pre-release org from that link. On the 27th, we will have the release notes that will tell us about all the updates that there are. So we'll have more videos and more updates to discuss then. On September 4th, we will have sandbox sort of date for the preview one. So you need to refresh your sandbox before that and get the previous sandbox. On the September 5th, the preview will start. So you will have your data or updated updates in the sandbox. Similarly, on September 19th, October 3rd, and 10th, the update will be live in productions. So do check your status in the Salesforce website and you'll be able to see which instance you are on and when it will be going to be updated. So let's dig into the updates. First, so now Salesforce provides us the option to log in on mobile with the QR code. So before this, we were used to enter login username and password login into mobile phone. But similar to other platforms and many other services, now we have an option to generate a QR code and log in with the QR code in a mobile app. Now, for that, we first have to enable it from the QR code login, and only then you can access this mobile login page. So let's see it in action. So as you can see, I have the option here, mobile login, but I don't have it enabled it right now. So let's go and enable it. For that, go to setup. And in Salesforce mobile app option, you will see this option QR code login. Now I'll click on this, it will be enabled, and now I should be able to generate a QR code to log in into mobile app. You can see I need to choose the app, generate the QR code. It will send me an OTP. Let's enter the OTP because Salesforce has increased the security and it asks for OTP every time. 9, and let's see. So now generate the QR. And we can see the QR is there. Now this QR will expire in 60 seconds. So you need to log in with that only in that given time frame. Let's move to the next one. Now, field history tracking is also enabled for user object now. It's still in beta phase. So you need to enable this beta service and only then you will be able to track user field history, like which fields of the user updated by whom, when, and it was very important for the compliance and everything. But now it's live, so we will be able to use this in mid 2026. Let's see how we can enable it and where you can see this. So let's go back to Salesforce. So in setup, let's enable this. So you will have to go to user management settings. And in user management, you will have option to enable user field history tracking beta. So it's in beta, so use with caution. And this will allow us to track fields. So if I right now go to object manager, it's not enabled right now. And type in user, go to field zip. And as you can see, I don't see the option to track fields now, but if I enable this, and let's go back and refresh the page, I should have the option to track fields. I have the option to track the fields. So you can check the checkboxes and save the fields, and it will track the fields. Let's move on. Now we have field history tracking combined into a single view where we can see all the objects and which fields we are tracking, how many objects and fields we are tracking. So it's a unified view. It's much easier to access, and now you don't have to go to each object and see which fields are being tracked or not. So it's very important for admins to have the information, and let's see it. So go to setup and home. Now click on type in field history tracking. Now here you will have a page where you can see the summary of the objects that are available to be tracked, how many objects I'm tracking, and what's the percentage of the objects, how many fields I can track. So these are all the fields that are available to be tracked. It does not include the encrypted and rich text fields. And how many fields I'm already tracking, what's the percentage. So am I tracking the high risk fields or not? Or how much fields I'm tracking? And so the field per object tracking is increased to 60. So I don't think it's directly available, but you can definitely contact Salesforce and they will increase it to 60. You can track 60 fields per object. Before it was 20. Now we have a checkbox to see only the objects which are being tracked. And we can type in the object name. If there are multiple objects, we can just type in the name and see that object. If I click on the arrow drop down, I will be able to see all the fields that are being tracked along with the checkbox. If I need to update these fields, I can definitely check those. And at the bottom, you will see an option to view tracked fields. This will give you combined view of all the objects with only which are being tracked. So case has 10 fields which are being tracked. So I'm only seeing 10 fields. As you can see, it's bifurcated with the track changes and old and new values. So description is only tracking new values or changes only. Similarly, I have contracts with 18 values, order with 17 values. So you can see all the objects and fields combined. That is all in the field history tracking. I think it will be very useful for the admins to handle it. Let's move on to the next section. Now we can reset the column sortings. So in recent updates, Salesforce provided us to have sorting on multiple fields. So let's say I am in the old view. Now, right now it's being sorted by account name, but I can sort it to multiple fields. So I click on sort. I can add multiple columns here. Let's say owner first name. And let's say then I will use form. I'll apply it. And as you can see, it's being sorted with multiple fields. Now I can change the order from this, when to sort and how to sort. And then if I want to reset it, I don't have to delete it one by one. I can just go ahead and reset the column sorting from here, and it will be by default goes back to the old one, which is name. So it's pretty useful when you have multiple column fields and multiple sortings applied. So it will be useful in that. Let's move on to the next update. So there are some flow updates which are very important and I think are pretty useful in the real life scenarios. So we have AI decisions where we can give the conditions to the AI to generate and don't have to manually set the conditions. So as you can see, this is how the decision element will look like. Let's see it in the flow itself. So I will go back to the flows. Let me open any flow. So let's see decision. Yeah, here we have a decision. So as you can see, this was not available before. Now you can manually set the conditions or let AI determine the conditions. So right now I don't have the license because it's a trial load. And if I have the license of the AI for the AI, I will be able to set the conditions using the AI with prompt instructions. I can just write the instruction and it will create the conditions for me. So it will be pretty useful feature. Now let's go back. Okay, now the debug panel has been moved to left. So before the debug panel was on the right side of the flow. So before this update, the debug panel used to come here. on the right hand side. But now when I run the debug, it will be on the left hand side. So let's see a record trigger flow first. So when I click on debug, as you can see, this will open on the left hand side. So from here, it has been moved to here. Now let's move on to the next one. So ScreenFlow supports improved debug experience. So now ScreenFlow has been enhanced. So before we used to have the ScreenFlow pop up in a new window, and then we will only be able to see how the flow was running. But now we can debug the flow in the same window. When I click on debug, it will open on the same window, just like the record trigger flow or auto launch flow. I will be able to see which elements ran, how the elements, path was taken. So when I click on run, so it opens the screen along with how the tasks were performed. Now you can see the flow canvas right in the same screen. Now, if I see the actions, I can also just reach to the element where I want this element is on the screen. So if it's a big flow, you don't have to find that element. You can just directly go to that element. And if you know, this is the element. If I check this is the element. So that's how it works. And you can easily find your relevant element. And it's very easy now to debug the screen flow as well. We have some basic features where we need to show the API names, or we just see the governance limits or the transaction boundaries. Also, in the debug, we have some fields and features like this is similar to the before. Okay. This is how the flow started. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Now we have themes. So we have themes in screen flows where we can decide which kind of themes we want to have, and we use those themes in the screen flow so that the screen flow looks just like wherever you are using with your on your website or an Expense Cloud site. So if I go to a screen flow, I can just choose the field from lightning style from here. So like by default, it's lightning blue, but I can change it to something else. As you can see, the color has changed. If I take something else, so that's how it changes the screen. So it will be useful when we are using the flow on third-party websites or Expense Cloud sites where we have theme and we want to match the flow with that theme. So it's more easy to customize now. Next, move on to the next update. So the sidebar in the flow is now collapsible, so you can see the data more easily. So when I debug the flow, this sidebar is now, collapse it or enlarge it based on your requirement. So there might be multiple information that you are not able to easily see it in a small screen, but when you enlarge the screen, you will be able to see the information more easily and it will be easier to read. You can collapse it or enlarge it. Let's move to the next one. So this is my favorite flow version tabular comparison. Now we can compare the flow versions, different versions of a flow in a tabular form. So before it was very hectic to compare versions where I have changed which variable has been changed, and if someone else has changed that variable, it was very tough to find it. Now it's very easy. So if I go back to this flow, I have created multiple versions here. So I will just click on compare versions. I'll have to select the old version, which version I'm comparing it with. Let's say I'm comparing it with version 1. Click on compare version. Let's cancel this. Yeah. Now you can see I'm only seeing the changed, which are whatever elements were changed, but I can see all the elements from here. So by default, it shows us the only change items. So as you can see, I have changed the connector for the start element. I've changed I've added this decision element, and you can see it's added, it's changed, it's updated. It shows the change type. Now, if I click on this view detail, I will be able to see what has changed. So as this, you can see in the gate percentage code, I have removed this field name and added this field number of employees. And for this, the previous element was connector was start element, but now the connector has been changed to check for name. Now let's see the different version. So let's say I want to compare it version 2. So as you can see, there is only one change with version 2. It was updated. So if I check this, the name variable was removed from the gateway code. So it's very easy now to compare the versions and see what has been changed and how it's affecting the other version or the capabilities of the flow. This is my personal favorite in this update. I have been using flows since long time, and it was very much needed feature. Let's and this one is also very important. Now, data table supports Apex defined variables. So in flow data table, we were not able to pass the Apex defined variables or custom, collections to see the data table. Only the record variables were supported. So now in this update, we can see the data table within some Apex variables. Let's see the next one. So let's say this is my flow, and this is the data table that I have added. In this data table, I have created some variables. So my source collection is Apex variables. So this is a class that I created. It's a custom class. So this is a class. It has nothing, just the variables. So it does not have anything, just three variables. We need to define the variables or enable because that is only way it will be accessible in flow to create the variables. But to use it as an invocable method, we need to define these invocable variable. So now let's go back to the flow, and I've passed the collection variable. I've configured the columns, and you can see this is how it will look. Now, if I debug this flow again, you can see this is my table. I'm just assigning this variable in the flow inside. So I've assigned this here. So I've assigned these variables, test, string, and number 2, and I can see the values here. So it will be pretty useful when we are using custom components, and we need the custom collection to display on the UI for the customers to see. And see one more thing, how to create these variables. So let me just replace it. So now answer, we click on this new element and select the variable. Now we need to select the Apex defined variable, and Apex class variable is available here. So for the variables to be shown in the collection table or the data table, I had marked the first variable as a collection variable and then created another variable with a single. So this is a collection variable with the same data type. Now another variable with the same data type so that I can put the values in that. And in this assignment, I'm just putting the values. These are random values that I'm using for test for demo purpose only. And then I added that single variable to the collection so that I can display it in data table. But I've tested one thing that it does not take the S object. If I pass the S object name, it will S object as in like this. I will be able to use this variable or assign it value, but I cannot display this directly inside the data table. That's a restriction that I find, and it might be resolved in future releases. But for now, you can just use string, integer, and these numbers which can directly be displayed on the UI. Yeah. So I think this is the last update. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for watching the video, and I will be bringing more videos on the updates when I have the released from Salesforce and I have more features. I will be exploring this new org that I got, the trial org. So I still have 29 days left in the trial org. So I will be exploring this org. You can get this org using the link that I will be providing in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.